I'm stood on a stage, not dissimilar to the one that I'm stood on now, in June 2012 in Albufeira in Portugal. And I'm on holiday with my friends from university who are luckily making up the majority of the audience. And there's a range of expressions on their faces, ranging from kind of excited, shocked glee, to one friend in the corner who's keeled over, kind of tears rolling down his face because he's laughing so much. And I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself because I know that I have just topped all of the ridiculous, the most stupid, outrageous stories that we have from this week's holiday in Albufeira. And in our group of friends, kind of having the most ridiculous stories or being the most ridiculous person or doing the most ridiculous thing is kind of like social currency. So, excuse me for what I'm about to tell you. What I've just done is I've taken the microphone on the karaoke stage and I have put it between my legs and I have queefed into that microphone. And if you don't know what queefing is, just Google that after this evening. So I suppose, although that is probably not my most elegant way of getting the most attention in the room, it's not something that, well, it is always something that I've been like. I've always been this kind of person who wants to conduct the attention from anyone that I'm around. Growing up in London, I went to a school that was quite underfunded, which I think lent itself to us just being the most kids that we could possibly be and very natural in our sort of natural states. And I was one of these kids that did just sort of boss everyone around, make them part of my imagination fantasies that I would place in different areas of the playground. And that was very much accepted in this group of friends. And my imagination also went into the sort of the realm of the not true. And so the lies that I would tell were kind of harmless, I think, in my opinion, but funny. My favourite one is I went to a seal sanctuary on the weekend with my family. And I went back to school afterwards and proudly showed all of my friends the photos of the seals that I'd taken. And this one girl goes to me, "Oh, cool, Hannah, is that your seal?" And I didn't miss a beat, I went, "Yep." Which then basically just sparked a panic of having to get this lie told and landed without any of these kids wanting to come to my South London Council Flats garden to see the poorly injured seal that I was sort of rearing back to health. And I had this lie pretty much ready to go. I was super pleased with myself, but there was this one girl, Stevie, who was onto me. And I knew she was onto me, and this was unfortunate because Stevie used to walk home from school with me and my mum. And this one day, we're walking, the lie is all told, the seal's going to Scotland tomorrow. I'm so sorry, you can't come and see my seal in my back garden. I'm so sorry. And we're walking, and I'm kind of trying to deflect Stevie as much as I can. But then she asked the dreaded question to my mum. She goes, "Lizzie, is it true that Hannah's got a seal in your back garden?" And I looked at my mum. My mum looked at me. And I looked at my mum. And my mum went, "Yes." And I have never loved my mum more than that moment. But you can see that this side of me was kind of encouraged as well. And the school that we went to in Streatham in South London also didn't have school uniform. And I would just wear whatever the hell I wanted. My dad got married when I was 8. And I had one of these 90s ball gowns of a bridesmaid's dress, like navy blue, like floor length, very sort of regal. And I would wear it to school as much as I wanted to. I wore it to the Year 4 disco, just like bopping around in my ball gown, like super happy. And everyone was fine with this. This was just Hannah being Hannah, and it was cool. So when I moved to just outside of Bristol, I had a bit of a shock. First of all, because there was school uniform. And I was really excited about the school uniform because I'd never had it before. And I went to pick out my shoes, and I can remember they were like these really clumpy, trainer-esque kind of shoes. And my stepmom was like, "Yeah, they're really practical too, so you can have them. Well done, Hannah." I was like, "Great." I picked like the most smart knee-length skirt that you could find because school uniform's smart, right? And I remember the 3 days preceding my first day at school, I would look at myself in the mirror, kind of like, just like in awe of my school uniform. I felt like a grown-up. It was cool. And so on the day of my first day at this school, I walked in with all the confidence that I'd had in London and kind of just like said hi to everyone. And I remember this very short, skinny, blonde girl, and they were all short, skinny, and blonde. And she looked at me up and down and she went, "What's wrong with your shoes?" And that was the first time I ever really remember feeling that kind of shame of me just being me. After that, I went to a different secondary school to all of these people that I had just come to this new school with. And I went to a school with only 2 of the girls in this class. And they were basically trying, sorry, excuse me. There were these 2 girls, and they were the only ones who were coming to the school with me. And right before summer, we went to do an induction day at the school, and it was a non-school uniform day again, so my time to shine, right? And the theme was Wrong Trousers Day, which was a weird thing back then in the UK. And I was really excited because I had the best trousers that I could possibly wear. They were like skin tight, aqua, purple, yellow, squares all over. I couldn't wait. And I went to their school, and I saw everyone else was with their non-school uniform, looking very normal, but I didn't care. These 2 girls were with me, it was fine. And I remember at lunchtime, I was taking a drink from a fountain, and these older girls come up to me, and they said, oh, where'd you get your trousers? And I went, oh, just a charity shop. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool. And I was like, yeah, you can just get it from like any 50p bin anywhere. Like, I remember saying that bit specifically. And these 2 girls who had watched this whole situation unfold in September when we started school, later told me that they'd planned all summer how they could ditch me because these older girls were taking the mick, and I hadn't even realized. So secondary school was weird, and it went through a lot of sort of phases of me trying to navigate my eccentricities with this sort of feedback of shame coming to me. So I think by the time I got to Nottingham, where I went to university, I was desperate for a group of people who would really sort of accept those sides of me. And I found that. I found the most deranged group of people you could imagine. I found a really zany American gay artist who did like outrageous art and felt absolutely no shame about it whatsoever. A friend who had grown up in a really strict Indian family who was just at uni to fuck and drink, and that's all she was going to do, and felt no shame about it at all. Another friend who was like super elegant and very fine and very nice, and then he would get drunk or take drugs and do insane things and feel no shame whatsoever about that. So I'd found my people, and by the time we went on this holiday, it was actually like a reunion because we'd finished university the year before. And so we were ready just to like meet up and like make memories and do ridiculous things. And so the things that we did this week were unspeakable, disgusting. We destroyed Albufeira. I can never go back. And so me queefing into a microphone on a karaoke stage is kind of like the level of our behavior for that week. And there are other stories, but that's for another story night, I suppose. But there was this one evening where we'd been day drinking all day. And we were walking towards the row of nightclubs that we tormented every single night that week. And I decide, in my sort of hazy, day-drunk way, that I need to take a piss. And so I find the nearest wall and just sort of like crouch down, pull aside my play suit, and just start to take this piss. And my friends are ahead of me, and they're kind of like looking at me. Me taking a piss in the middle of the street is really not the worst thing that I am doing, so it's kind of normal behavior. And I'm sort of just crouching there, and then suddenly I just feel this hand on my shoulder. And I look up, and there's this very angry Portuguese man. You could ask me what he looks like, I have no idea, but his face was furious. And he's furious because I'm taking a piss in front of his very full Portuguese restaurant. And I'm now making eye contact with the people who are eating. And so in this sort of fear, I kind of just like pull myself up, pull everything back together, try to get away from him. My friends have now seen what's happening, and they're all like, there's gasps of excitement, and yeah, like this is another good story. This is queef level. So like they're all like really excited, and that kind of gets me going, right? I'm like, oh yeah, amazing, hilarious. So I'm trying to get away from this man, but he's really angry. And he grabs me, and I'm trying to run towards my friends, and he grabs me again. He's like, I'm going to call the police. And I was like, oh no, shit, I've got to get out of here. So I go and I run with all my might to my group of friends who are there, ready to embrace me with their laughter and their appreciation for this other stupid thing that I have done. And then I just hear these bellowing words behind me as I'm running towards them. You English pig. 4 years later, I moved to Spain. And what also moved with me was this English pig shame. And I did everything I could to integrate. For the first 3 years, I barely let myself have any English-speaking friends. I memorized exactly when and when I cannot eat paella, and I made sure that I was never caught ordering paella at dinner time. And I've lived here for 10 years now, and I'm starting to feel the way that I felt just before university, that feeling of not having all of myself been shown for a really long time, which I guess is why I'm stood here on the stage, not dissimilar to that stage in Albufeira in Portugal, telling you all my story. But don't worry, I'm not going to queef. Thank you.